Hello everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Tom and today we are joined by Managing Director of Simpson Associates, Giles. And Giles, you've got some exciting news to share with us, is that right?
Yeah, we've just been named the 2024 Microsoft Partner of the Year for Community Response.
That's amazing, as you can probably tell by our background, but what is that award? What does that mean? Who gets it?
That award is awarded to Microsoft partners. It's the pinnacle award that I think all Microsoft partners really want to receive. I think my interpretation of why we won the award this year is it really recognises our commitment to using data and using AI to make a real difference in the community and a real social impact.
Yeah, amazing. And how important is this award to Simpson Associates?
I think it's massive for us as a business. I think it absolutely reflects the commitment and the innovation of everybody in the business, and the desire to really want to make an impact both for our our public sector clients, but also our commercial clients. And I think for us, the learnings that we take from one project, one engagement, we absolutely use on other engagements as we go through.
Yeah, and I guess it's such an honour to be on such a global scale with us, a UK often based business, being partnered with Microsoft, an international company.
Absolutely. And I think for us, it's really good to see the other winners, and it's a complete variety of some of the really large organizations and some of the smaller organizations. And I think the awards this year have picked out some amazing innovation that's happened across the sectors, across the globe, across a whole variety of organizations. And really that innovation and working with Microsoft is making a massive difference.
And then how specifically did we gain this award? Were there any projects specifically that we were recognized for?
For this award particularly, it called out our work that we've done with TOEX, which is the Tackling Organised Exploitation program here in the UK. And that's a national program that is all around helping police officers on their investigations around the identification of anyone that's involved in human trafficking, exploitation, slavery. And very much it was a project that was focused on bringing data together from a whole host of different data sources, and then being able to look for patterns, drive intelligence from that. And that's where we were really able to sort of start adding AI on top of the services.
And how long has this project been going on for?
We've been working with the TOEX program for about the last 3 or 4 years. It started very small, and one of the aims of the program was to be able to show value really, really quickly. So I think that's one of the reasons that the program has been successful. We've been able to increment and add additional capability into the solution.
Yeah, and I guess, won't you tell us a bit more about the story of the project from its, you said it started quite small, but of course it must be much bigger now. How did that kind of develop?
Yeah, so first phase of the program was all around collecting data from a whole host of different police forces and bringing that data and very much building out a data platform that those intelligence analysts could use. And then it's evolved now into what we call the capabilities environment. And that's been adding, as it says, capabilities into that are now shared across a number of police forces and regional organised crime units. And that's been capabilities such as transcription. So that's AI-powered transcription or AI-powered translation services. So I guess for many of us, if you're not involved in that sort of law enforcement sector and area, it's really easy for us to be able to, translate some text that we have. We'll just go to Bing Translate or something like that, and just throw it in to the translate. But of course, that's a public service, and that's it's not private and that. So actually,
security concerns.
Absolutely, those security concerns. So building out a platform that allows us to securely translate, transcribe at scale, when a intelligence analyst needs to do that.
And where is the project now on its scale? Is it being used? Are police forces using this and the TOEX program?
Yeah, so absolutely. So we have this capabilities environment, which we are now hosting on Azure and running as the delivery partner for TOEX. And then that now has different analysts logging into that and using that. So there's a stat, I think, earlier this year. It's been used on 390 live investigations, and I think it's translated 29 million characters.
Quite impressive. And what's next in the TOEX program? Is there a plan to spread it wider, use it for more functionality? What's coming up?
I think for us, it's about adding additional applications into the solution or into the capabilities environment, and just expanding the breadth of capabilities that platform has.
And are there any particular services that you've really relied on or used a lot throughout the project?
I think we started, I suppose, at the time it was all around the cognitive services, and now it's the Azure AI services, and we're starting to look at some of the open AI services and how they can be used. I think particularly in this engagement, we have the extra level of assurance that has to be done, and we have to make sure we get the services assured before we can use them. But again, it's just the pace of some of the services that are there, and working with Microsoft, working with a fast track team, working with a product group over in Redmond to be able to understand what's coming.
But I guess there's also a balance to that. We talk about AI and it's constantly changing. There's new technologies evolving all the time. How have you managed to use that within the TOEX program or other projects?
I think from an AI perspective, it's really important that we set expectations correctly, and particularly, both within TOEX and within our other client engagements, project engagements, that I think everyone recognizes what AI can bring, how it can absolutely have a massive impact on productivity for people, and will certainly change the way many of us work in our working environment. But I think at the moment, it is very much about setting expectations and ensuring that when we're creating, or those use cases are being identified, that the expectations are set. If we look at one of the other solutions that we've been involved with, all around redaction, and our Redact Expert tool, which is all around AI-powered text redaction of personal identifiable data. I think you put a tool out there and people expect it to be 100% right. And it isn't going to be magic. It is based on machine learning. It's based on the large natural language models. It's got learning to do as part of that. So I think it's about that expectation and making sure that when things aren't right, you're able to explain the reasons why as well. And so I think that's one really important aspect of the sort of AI-powered solutions. And then I suppose one of the things we have to be really, really aware of is, as we're building these solutions, is the bias that can be introduced in those, and really understanding what decisions are going to be made on the based on the outputs of the solutions and things like that, and making sure that you're happy when we're designing these solutions, or we're happy, the customer's happy, that if any bias does get introduced, it's not going to have a negative impact, and find ways to manage that bias and test for it as we're building solutions.
And we talk about AI regularly. We hear it in the news, and it can be seen as this big scary thing in many ways. But how are we making sure, especially through programs like TOEX, that you're using AI for the good rather than?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that comes down to ensuring that we have the right governance in place, and collaboration between ourselves as a supplier and whoever, whichever customer we're working with, and that we're jointly working on that project. We're looking at the risks that could be that could occur on that, and making sure we're really challenging ourselves. We're challenging the customer is challenging ourselves as well, just to make sure that the use of AI, I suppose, is ethical for that. And of course, there are some of the the ethical standards and how we would use AI in an ethical way.
And I guess that's particularly important for public sector or police forces.
Absolutely. And I think it's very much about being open and upfront before we progress.
So how can people take those first steps into getting towards AI and into that world?
So I think there's a number of different ways that you can start. I suppose we have an offer as an example, an AI assessment, which really we work with organisations looking at a number of different use cases, particularly some of those processes that can be very very manual. That there's a lot of manual effort involved in those processes where maybe there's a lot of manual searching going on, or a lot of maybe activities that require a lot of research in, and not necessarily sort of research that you're able to do on the on the internet on publicly available information, but particularly information that might exist in internal documents, such like. And then we're being able to from that build out small proof of concepts that get going very, very quickly, using some of the open AI services to be able to build generative AI chatbot type interfaces that allow users to be able to sort of query in natural language to be able to get information that in the past they might be doing large SharePoint searches, finding documents, trawling through searches,
which could just take so long.
Absolutely. And so for us, I think it's about identifying those use cases quickly, not trying to be necessarily big bang. You've got an organization with 20,000 people in there and you've got a hunch that you might be able to use AI in a certain area. It's certainly not about building a solution and go, actually, I'm going to go and trial that with 20,000 people. Find small use cases, small focus groups to be able to test those hypotheses and see what works and how that can be adopted.
It's introducing it gradually, making those small changes in certain areas that that things aren't quite as efficient maybe as they should be, and that there's capacity for AI, rather than just say everything needs to be automated now. It's a balance of still using current processes and humans along with the AI and machine learning.
Absolutely, and I think one of the biggest factors here is also about that whole change management process. I think sometimes we'll go into organisations and businesses, and there's a absolute fear of AI that it's going to come and take my job away. And I think that's one of the really importance about managing that change across an organisation. In most cases, those people are most probably overworked anyway and not getting through the really, really important things that they should be doing. So it's about positioning how AI can support them in their role. And maybe that's a reason that we all hear Microsoft talk about Copilot, and very much a lot of the AI solutions at the moment drop into that sort of, it is your Copilot, it is working alongside you, it is helping you, it is assisting you. So that's one of the things with our AI assessment. We look and go, what are the technical solutions that could be applied to some of those use cases? So is it starting with Microsoft 365 Copilot? Is it looking at some of the very bespoke Copilot services for sort of Copilot for sales, Copilot for finance? Or perhaps it is a bit more bespoke and it's over a certain line of business application. So we're able to make use of Copilot Studio, or then going up to something like the OpenAI services and bringing in very much curated data sets and sets of data that are addressing this particular need. And maybe you're wanting to embed that as part of a Teams application or a line of business mobile application, and putting that.
I guess there's just so many options, and it can be big scale, small scale, that it's just trying to find the right thing for you at that moment in time for your business.
Absolutely.
And I guess with AI being such a hot topic at the moment, you must have seen so many projects so keen to use AI very quickly. Are there any cases where actually it hasn't quite worked out and it's not introduce value to the business? Any stories you've got?
I think we see, organizations coming under pressure to implement AI. It's such a buzzword. Pressure is coming down from, the top of an organization saying,
in some ways it's nice tick box in the achievements that we've done this year, sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that sort of results in some organizations sort of, using AI to get, spending time trying to sort of find a solution that AI can solve, and maybe that problem doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's really important when you are, looking for those use cases is really to try and understand the business value that you'll get back from that investment, and what is that ROI on that process. This isn't just about trying to find a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, and maybe not completely sort of AI related, but I know I've seen a project in the past where it was all about digitization, and they wanted to be able to make sure all the the data was collected in, so they could start doing analytics and AI on that data. But what they had in the past was very much a paper-based process, but it was a big form people were filling in. The solution they went to was a tiny mobile app that they were trying to expect people to use with gloved fingers. And what was a sort of a 5-minute form was suddenly taking 15, 20 minutes, and actually quite inaccurate when it was filled in. Absolutely, technology should be able to help in that process, but I think it's how the interface is built, where people are collecting that data. Certainly, in this day and age, we don't want paper forms being around the place and data being left like that. But it's actually, how do you build that end-to-end solution and make sure that you consider all the stakeholders, how people interact with the that UI and such like. I think it comes back to really understanding the use case, understand the value, and make sure you design a solution to match the requirements.
Do you have tips to make sure that you're not just implementing for the sake of implementing? What are the almost traps that you can avoid, and tips to make sure that you're making a meaningful change?
I think one of the first piece is all around stakeholder engagement, being really clear about what you're looking to achieve, why you're looking to achieve it, what are the the expected return on investment, where are those savings. If it is time savings, what are people going to do with that time that has been saved? Is there an expectation that actually now we're getting further insights, we're getting that insights quicker? How can they make more impactful decisions on that data? So a lot of it is around expectation setting as well.
Looking back at the award, it's a community response specific. What does that mean? What's the specialization? What's that partner of the year?
I think the community response is one of the awards. So within the Microsoft Partner of the Year, I think there are 40 or 50 global awards given out, and they sit within 4 or 5 different categories. One of those is social impact, and community response is one of the awards that sits within that social impact category. And for us, when we were looking at that, the nomination into that award category, it was very much about how have we as a business helped a real need that exists out in the community. And I don't think there's anything sort of in a way more important than sort of that whole piece around human trafficking, human exploitation. So my understanding is that's the reason it's really aligned with that. It was it's addressing one of the biggest sort of needs within the community, and one of the areas of greatest harm that exists.
Well, thank you very much, Giles, for all your wisdom and joining us, and congratulations on the Partner of the Year. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you've got any questions or comments, make sure to leave a comment below. But we'll see you next time. Bye.